now I can party all night and drink whiskey, and that makes me a European. Unfortunately, the British put this into our head that if you drink whiskey, you look like a Sahib. And we can't get it out. So the idea was more for me that I wanted some kind of a creative hub, and I saw the creative people here kind of all lost, kind of all on their own. Nothing was coming together. So this started off as creating a hub for all the creatives that are here, and plus then inviting international people. So the project was, part residence, part gallery, part workshop. One of the things first, coming back to India after so long is like you always think, what can I give back to my country? What did I learn in another country that was worth it, that's not here? So one thing for me was I had learned about contemporary art, contemporary space, contemporary living, which is still, it come to India in little pieces, but not in a, proper way. And at that time, I didn't realize it's like completely crazy to have a contemporary gallery in a village in India. I mean, that's like absolutely everybody who looked at me was like, this project belongs not even in India, in a foreign country. I mean, it's not possible. But I was inspired by the place. I was living in the place. I wanted to do things in this village, basically, because I was living in this village. I didn't want to travel to any place of work or place of project. I wanted to be local. So I decided to, spend about 4.5 years putting this building up. And after that, I did make the contemporary gallery. Then I also found that galleries in India were not built as galleries. They seem to have been converted. Buildings that were meant for some other use were converted into galleries. Some work, and some didn't really work, especially for contemporary art. Like contemporary art should be displayed in a contemporary space. Somehow putting it in a traditional space, you lose out on the experience. It's designed for the eye. It's designed for volume, not designed for square footage and area. So the thing is, we perceive space with our eyes, actually. We don't perceive it when somebody tells us it's 400 square feet. But when we buy it, we want to see 420 square feet exactly shown to us, even though it might look too small. So that was another design idea that I put into these units up here, which is, again, what is the context of life in a village? It's different to having open kitchen. Whereas in the contemporary life, making your own food is not a bad thing. Kitchens are very well designed so that they're beautiful spaces to look at. People spend money on their cookers and stuff that you want the guests to look at. So things like that have been added to these units to give it a contemporary space, contemporary life in a village. Over time, I would say in the last 2 years, we get a lot of local people from around here, not just the people who have moved from urban centers. Those are our main, not I would say clients, but the people who use this space, which is kind of beautiful because, I mean, they have no idea what is contemporary art. And if they can come and like take a selfie with one of our sculptures, I feel quite happy that they're like enjoying something that is artistic. Maybe they don't understand what it means, but they're enjoying the beauty of it. Now, sustainable is not important if this place is raining all the time and I say, no, I'm going to put a rammed earth wall because it's so cool. You're going to be in the next magazine because you use sustainable architecture. But it's not sustainable for a wet climate. So sometimes, they're using it more as a brand, whereas the other guys are building the, tall skyscrapers is also like, that's the modern India. And this is somehow the design India. Now, both those architects are very capable people. They're just not being put into the right context of what should be contemporary India. And, contemporary can be defined locally. Every country has to have its own contemporary architecture. Not that we take French architecture, which is Mr. Corbusier, we brought it in the 1950s. And since then, unfortunately, we haven't had a strong influence. So architecture in India it's sad that we are still relating to Bauhaus, which even I come out of Bauhaus, but we never try to discover our own contemporary architecture. So, in fact, India is still looking for that contemporary sense. And that was what we lost our, idea of fashion and food. I mean, our food is now going away like this. I mean, since, we started with the Italian restaurants and the pizzas, but now it's like, everything is the burgers, the processed food is coming so much at us that our Indian cuisine is going to be completely lost. And our Indian cuisine came from a balanced diet and, Ayurveda and stuff. It was rich in health. But we're willing to even give up health to subscribe to a contemporary life that we feel or we have defined or media has defined for us. Not that now I can party all night and drink whiskey and that makes me a European. Unfortunately, the British put this into our head that if you drink whiskey, you look like a Sahib. And we can't get it out. Even the wine people are having trouble in India because we subscribe to the whiskey makes us Sahib and the wine doesn't, But this is a new phenomenon, that it happens in fashion, but then it becomes exoticized, then it's exotic because actually the French guy loves what the Indian guy did, whereas the Indian guy put his Indian thing into it, and the Indians don't love it till the French guy says it's okay. So we have to, come to a point when we feel comfortable about ourselves. People are getting less sensitive. Now, everybody tries to do programs for the lower classes to get sensitive and sensitized. Now, the lower classes are not decision makers. So in a gallery, this is elitist. It is for a little bit of the elite. But this elite is the decision makers. And these are the people we need sensitized more than every poor guy in this country. Because these are the people who are going to lead the country to the next stage. And the next stage has to be completely our stage. So even the same thing, the contemporary life has to be redefined for an Indian. Having enough of India in it, having enough of the West in it, having enough of China in it. But the Indian has to decide to create this life. And who is that Indian? It is the artists. It is the creators. It is the designers. These are the people responsible for it, not the politicians. The politicians will follow.